You'll not be asked to identify the different types under the microscope, but you will be asked to know the difference and know where the different types are located. Our next tissue is stratified transitional epithelium. Stratified transitional epithelium lines the urinary bladder, and for that reason it is capable of expanding and contracting without tearing. The slide that you're going to have is going to be labeled urinary bladder, contracted and expanded. And you're responsible for identifying this tissue from the expanded bladder section or the contracted bladder section. This one that you're looking at here is the thin section and is the cross section through the urinary bladder when it is expanded. The transitional epithelium is only this very thin dark line that you see here from about this point to the free surface. Your free surface, the epithelial tissue, the basement membrane. The same slide will contain on it the contracted stratified transitional epithelium. Again, you go to the surface where you see a lighter colored band. This is a little bit thicker than it was before. Your basement membrane is along here, the epithelial tissue, and the free surface. You can see this band extending all the way over here, there, lining the whole inside part of the urinary bladder. We'll go up to low power, open the diaphragm. Your basement membrane is along here, free surface here, and everything in between is the epithelial tissue. Stratified transitional epithelium. We'll go back down now to the expanded. We can see the dark layer a little bit better. Expanded, it is much thinner. The transitional epithelium is, basement membrane is located here to the free surface here. This is mostly muscle tissue down in here, connective and muscle tissue. We'll go to high power, open the diaphragm, go to the surface, and you can see the cells a little bit better, not real clear. Your basement membrane is going to be along here to the free surface here. You can see the nucleus of a cell here, the nucleus of a cell there, nucleus here, and so on. We'll move back to the contracted again is thicker. Your basement membrane is along here. You have a few layers of cells, not many layers of cells, along in here to the free surface here. Again, the cells are bigger, more balloon-like. The nucleolus present inside, you can see the nucleolus present, the cytoplasm. Students sometimes confuse this with the stratified squamous, but the stratified squamous has many more cell layers. If you named or counted the cell layers from this point to the basement membrane here, you'd probably only have 3 or 4 cell layers thick. whereas on the stratified squamous epithelium, you're going to have probably in excess of 15 or 20 cell layers. So this is stratified transitional epithelium. This tissue has the ability to stretch without the outer cells breaking apart. It lines parts of the urinary system, such as the urinary bladder. Our next tissue is pseudostratified columnar epithelium. This tissue will probably be found on a slide labeled ciliated epithelium. This tissue is actually a cross-section through the trachea of an animal and contains several other tissues besides the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. The pseudostratified columnar epithelium is the tissue located at this point here. It should be a pinkish line of cells from this point where the basement membrane would be located to the free surface along here. This type of tissue will easily be recognized under higher powers as the only tissue that we see that has cilia. Let's move this slide where that will be near the center of our field of view and go to low power. If you're careful, you can start seeing a fuzziness along the free surface here, which will be the cilia. We'll center and go to high power. Now we can clearly see the cilia. We can see the cilia clearly here from this point to the surface. This is the free surface of the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. The basement membrane is located along in here. You actually have only a single layer of cells, but it appears to be multicellular because all of the cells do not reach the surface. The nuclei of these cells are located also at varying depths, and the cells are attached to the basement membrane but may not reach the free surface. This gives the appearance of many layers, but it's really only one. Goblet cells for secreting mucus are present, and cilia move substances over the surface of the tissue. This tissue lines most of the upper respiratory tract and certain ducts of the reproductive system. Here you can see a goblet cell. Here's another goblet cell. They're not quite the same as they were in the simple columnar epithelium, but they do secrete mucus in much the same way. So you have the cilia, you have the free surface, you have the cells, the basement membrane along here, and you have specialized goblet cells for secreting mucus. This is pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Our review of tissues and epithelial tissues.